Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, y'all, and plus welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing all of my Nintendo handhelds I own to this day. So over here, I have the Game Boy Advance, my Nintendo 3DS XL, my Nintendo Switch 1, and my sister's Nintendo Switch 2. So yes, we are going to review them from oldest to newest. So over here we have the Game Boy Advance, which came out back in 2001. The 3DS that came out back in 2011, although the 3DS XL model came out back in 2012, which was 14 years ago, although the 3DS came out 15 years ago. The Switch 1 that came out back in 2017. I can't believe it's like a 9-year-old console now. Next year, the Switch is going to be 10. I'm going to throw a huge party once the Switch turns 10. Over here, guys, is the Switch 2. The newest Nintendo console. And this year will be the Switch 2's first anniversary. Ever since it launched last year on June 5th, 2025. So yes. So let's get started on the Game Boy Advance. But before we get started, over here guys, all three of these are mine. The Game Boy Advance is all mine. The 3DS XL is all mine. The Switch 1 is officially all mine. Although it used to be, my sister and I used to share it a lot. But now she has a Switch 2. It's all mine now. So I don't have to deal with my sister touching my Nintendo Switch 1 no more. So yes, but well, let's get started with the Game Boy Advance. You can see here, it's a small portable handheld. It has the Game Boy Advance logo, select and start buttons, which feel kind of soft though. The D-pad, very soft. And here's the A and B buttons, looking good. And there's the speakers. And you can see here when you flip the switch, this turns on. You can see here. And when you look at the back, here's the battery cover. Since this thing takes 2 AA batteries. Here's the cartridge slot where you store your games. Let's take this guy for example. You insert them like this. But for those of you who own a Nintendo DS or DS Lite, you guys will have the ability to play Game Boy Advance games, as both of those DS systems in the DS family are backwards compatible with GBA games. So yes, it's pretty good though, that they're backwards compatible. Well, that is it for the Game Boy Advance, original model. Up next is the Nintendo 3DS XL. This thing came out back in 2012. I have the red model though, and I got last year on my 13th birthday in November. So yes, I have the red one. My cousin little Eric has the blue 3DS XL. If you guys don't know, I did review his blue 3DS XL half a year ago, back in 2024, when I came over to his house. I also reviewed his DSi XL, which is a light blue model, which is pretty cool. And he does have some DS games. But well, over here guys is my 3DS XL. In case you're wondering, yes, I have a protective case on my 3DS XL. So it can survive drops, have a less broken hinge, and yes. Also, please excuse the crack on this device. Cracks are very common on 3DS hinges. Like, look at this. It's not that bad, though. But since I have a case now, it'll reduce the chances of the hinge breaking. So yes, it's a foldable device. It's actually a double-screen device. Oh, here's the headphone jack, which I forgot to mention. So yes, you can see here. Here is the inside. We have the circle pad, the D-pad, the select, start, and home button, and the X, Y, and Z buttons, and the power button. Also, we have the 3D slider, whenever you need to turn your 3D on. Although, most people keep their 3D off because it hurts their eyes. And here's our speakers. So yes, over here, for every 3DS and 2DS model you buy, comes with your own stylus, which is pretty cool though. Although I lost my stylus multiple times before, but luckily I found it. Yes. But unfortunately, my cousin little Eric lost his stylus, unfortunately. Permanently. But yes, if you guys don't know, I almost lost the stylus many times. The one that stressed me out a lot when I almost lost it is when I was visiting my elementary school, when walking there one night with my mom and my sister and my brother, of course. That happened back in March. So yes, I almost lost the stylus. And I was running with my dog Milo with my stuff in my hand. Of course, I brought my 3DS and Game Boy Advance. This fell out, hit the ground, and I stressed out a little, hoping to find it. but unfortunately, the good news is we found it, which is exciting. And let's power on it, guys. If you guys don't know, yes, the 3DS, of course, has a touchscreen. But unfortunately, with the Game Boy Advance, unfortunately, no touchscreen is on the Game Boy Advance, unfortunately. The 3DS XL, on the other hand, comes with a resistive touchscreen, which works with almost anything. For example, let's use this. It works. Let's use this little toy I have. It works. Because the screen detects pressure and not electricity. So yes. So technically, everything can work on the 3DS touchscreen. Yes. But unfortunately on the Switch it will not. We'll get into more about the Switch after the 3DS XL. You can see here. Screen's a lot larger though. It does have a longer battery life. You can see here we have the camera app, the Nintendo 3DS Sound app, the Meme Maker application, and the Street Pass Meat Plaza. Of course, I got a lot from Disneyland and California Adventure 2 or 3 weeks ago when I last went. Here's the eShop, which unfortunately closed down on March 27th, 2023, which was 3 years ago. Here is our games, Space Raiders, Activity Log, Nintendo Zone, Download Play, System Settings, and that's it, unfortunately. We also have Miiverse, which shut down in 2017 due to being outnumbered by YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We have the browser. Oh, why did I choose internet browser? Let's just exit out. You can see here we have stuff like Google and all this stuff. Let's wait till we get to the home menu. Alright, so over here we have notifications, which are mostly written in Japanese and English. The friend list, and game notes if you want to take notes in your games. So yes, it's a pretty good console though. If you put it on sleep mode and walk around, you might get street passes. Neither of the chances are high or low. Over here we have the cartridge slot, the L and R buttons. If you click those together at the same time, it'll activate the camera. Here's the charging plug, where you connect the 3DS charger into the charger, into the charger plug. You can see here. Here's the 2 camera dots. And yes, well, let's shut down this console for now. Unfortunately, let's get the stylus back to where it is. Well, guys, up next is my Nintendo Switch 1. My very own Nintendo Switch, which used to be my sister's, though. We had this since Christmas 2020, and it was my first Nintendo console. You can see here, I have the white Joy-Cons, though. I have a lot more. If you can see here, here is my collection of Joy-Cons. I do have the factory ones I got, but unfortunately, the real red one, the real red one, got broken after it got water damage back in 2021. I have the fake one, though. This one over here, where it's connected on the Joy-Con grip, it's a fake. Of course, I bought from Walmart.com for at least $50 or so. So yes. Over here, we have the Joy-Con rails. You can slide it off, or slide it back on if you want. Let's get this guy back on. So yes, I have the standard model. You can see here, here's our charging plug. Our charging plug. Here's our home button. Our Joy-Con thumbsticks. Although Joy-Con drift happens a lot. Here's our plus and minus buttons. The camera button. Home button. In case you're wondering, you can either turn it on with the home button, or if you click the power button, you can turn it on also. So yes, on the back over here we have the Switch logo, of course. Here's the kickstand where the memory card is. Although the kickstand is very fragile. It is fragile. But if you get the OLED Switch, you're lucky to have a better kickstand. Unfortunately, though, with the Switch Lite, there is no kickstand on the Nintendo Switch Lite, unfortunately. So yes. Let's go in the home menu. So yes, it's a very good console, though. I was playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe the other day. So yeah. Over here we have Switch Online, News, the eShop, which still works, Album, Download Play, Controllers, Virtual Game Carts, System Settings, and the Sleep Mode option, if you want. So yes, this console is actually pretty good though. You can see here when you take off the rails, you can see here, you can also play a Joy-Con in single mode, which I mostly use whenever I'm playing Super Mario Party or Mario Party Jamboree. They did make a Switch 2 version of Super Mario Party Jamboree with a lot whole new features that the Switch 1 version doesn't have. Well, before we move on to the Switch 2, if you could see here, excuse me, over here we have our cartridge slot, our fan, power button, and our volume button. Well, let's move on to the Switch 2 finally, before we wrap up this video. And that's all my handhelds to the side. And over here is the Switch 2, which with a whole lot of new features. You can see here, of course, we have the stuff the Switch 1 has, but what we have is the game chat button, which is pretty cool though. And over here, the Joy-Cons are magnetic. For instance, if you guys don't know, yes, we watched the trailer last year, back in January, where we saw the magnetic Joy-Cons. You can see here. Also, people were worried about this little chip here, where it'll snap off if you pull it too hard. But to be honest though, the screen's actually so durable. It's actually durable though. You can see here. Barely slides off. Here's our kickstand, which is a whole lot wider than the OLED kickstand. If you guys don't know, my Uncle Chris has the OLED Nintendo Switch alongside with PS4. With one PS4, of course. Well, let's power this on. You can see here. Over here, we have of course, the online, game chat, which is new, news, the eShop, the album, the game share, controllers, virtual game cards, system settings, and sleep mode. So yes, let's power it off for now. Unlike the Switch 1, we have a second USB-C port on the top, whereas the bottom we only have one, which is the Switch 1, of course. You can see here. But if you open this, unlike the Switch 1, you can only open it like this. But on the Switch 2, of course, you can open it like this. There's a little handle on the top, or a lever. Here's our cartridge slot. Here's our fan, our power button, and our volume buttons. And yes, that is pretty much it of the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's get our handhelds back and end the video. But well, guys, that should be the end for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you guys smash the like button and subscribe. Plus, don't forget to link in the comments to turn on your notifications. And don't forget, guys, I will make a separate video doing a review video on this console entirely and comparing these two pretty soon. But well, that's it for this video. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!